The Absa Cape Epic is the untamed African mountain bike race, an 8-day odyssey, taking in 681 rugged kilometers, with 16,900 arduous meters of climbing. Crisscrossing South Africa's Western Cape province, it takes on high mountains, windswept plains, dual tracks, district roads and scintillating single track. It is brutal and beautiful by turns. The sternest test of man, woman and machine, undertaken in teams of 2. It demands cooperation and rewards the well-prepared. Disaster lurks around every bend, in mechanical malfunctions, catastrophic crashes and accumulated fatigue. Despite the risks, the Absa Cape Epic rewards too. Trails flow through pristine fynbos. Conquered summits provide panoramic vistas. Camaraderie develops as the week progresses. Rivals become friends. This is why it is the race that measures all. Any rider who can complete the Absa Cape Epic stands apart as someone who can commit to a goal, who can suffer towards it, who can overcome. This is the Absa Cape Epic, where teams conquer as one. The Absa Cape Epic returns to Lourensford for the first time in 8 years. Having hosted the grand finale in 2014, the vast farm in the Helderberg Basin is the base for the first 2 days of the 2022 race. Aside from providing the terroir for world-class wines, award-winning fruits and international blockbuster movies, Lourensford is also home to incredible mountain biking trails, including some of South Africa's oldest single tracks and of course some of the newest, purpose-built for the race. The 24-kilometre long Prologue provides the first test of the 2022 event. It features 700 metres of climbing as it snakes along the western slopes of the estate, mixing steep vineyard climbs, fire road drags and sections of incredible single track. It is designed to sort the wheat from the chaff, to provide the start groups for the week ahead. For the amateurs, a safe and clean run through Lourensford is essential, while for the elite teams every second counts. A Prologue performance can set up a successful week ahead. Getting going early allowed some riders the chance to settle the butterflies by putting their legs to work. 17-time finisher and last line Mike Nixon still feels the untamed nerves after all these years.
Yeah, I think irrespective of the number that you've done, you always get those butterflies at the start of the Prologue, eh? But we were saying now, what a great venue this is, eh? Brilliant start, and it's going to be a hot week. Really looking forward to it.
Oh, we didn't test ride it, but Mike's been around everywhere, so I'll just follow him. He'll be my Sherpa. I'll keep an eye on him.
Even World Cup winners like John Smith feel the tension.
Definitely nerves. Like the first one, I think I was 180 beats per minute on my first epic, so you sort of get a little bit more into it, but I promise you, it's the longest week before Prologue. You just want to get it done. When this clock starts beeping down, it's when anxiety starts. So Prologue's that could get out of the way and then your race really starts.
The order of the day for the amateur teams was to navigate the Prologue time trials safely. Yes, times are important, but quieting the nerves and getting the legs turning over was vital. The next 7 days will provide opportunities aplenty to move up the general classification, to find rivals on the trails and to battle the elements. Early starters enjoyed a fresh morning, but the crispness burnt off as the sun rose. Soon the heat became stifling and the wind-still conditions left dust hanging in the air. Nonetheless, ticking off the Prologue represented a job well done for the race's more social teams. As the elite women's start times neared, the nerves built, and riders utilised every trick in the book to stay cool. Ice-filled stockings, wet towels and umbrellas abound as final preparations were made for the brutal 24 kilometres ahead. Hayley Batten was particularly bullish.
Absolutely, I think we're here and we want to win the overall and we want to win every stage. We know it's going to be challenging along the way, but we're going for it. And today is the first day to give our best and kind of see where everybody's at, and then we can really just race smart after that. So,
Candice Lill was eagerly awaiting the starters' orders.
Look, we're feeling good to finally be on the start line. I'm really excited to get this race going. So it's prologue. You know, you don't win the race in the prologue, but you definitely have to have a solid one. So, yeah, we're hoping to put together a good effort today.
Experience had taught Robin de Groot to be circumspect.
Oh, definitely, you don't want to lose too much time on a prologue. So, but you also don't want to kill yourself. So, yeah, just to judge our pace correctly.
Ariane Luthi, meanwhile, had a power number to tether her effort to.
Yeah, well, the time trial is about pacing. I spoke to my coach about the number I need to aim for, and I kind of tried to stick to that plan. And obviously, we try to be as smooth as possible with changing in the front. She's going to lead through a single track. I think that's the quickest way. I can see above her. Yeah, that's our tactics.
Marie Rabi and Hayley Preen were the early pace setters in the CM.com women's field. The private client holdings team had suffered heartbreak in the 2021 race when Preen crashed out, fracturing her wrist. In 2022, the combination were eager to show their form and showcase their ever-expanding array of technical skills. A triathlete and road racer respectively, Rabi and Preen are a growing off-road force. Despite starting relatively early in the women's field, the private client holdings team secured a solid result in the prologue. The wintergreen A-bus combination of Elrika Harmsen Pretorius and Lahani Oosthuizen were among those happy to get the race off to a clean start. As was Irina Letzelschwab. She was only joined by Tiffany Keep in the days before the race, after her initial partner Vera Lossa was forced to withdraw due to illness. Back spasms rather than illness explains Sarah Hill's off day. The Live Factory racing rider and her partner Casey Armstrong now have a lot to do over the next 7 days. Janka Kesek-Stefkova and Martina Karulkova were 2 seconds faster, yet they will be happy with their effort as they didn't start with the weight of expectation on their shoulders. The 91 Songo Specialized team did, however. As Specialized Factory Racing's women's teams are unbeaten at the Absa Cape Epic, Sophia Gomez-Villafan and Hayley Batten have a legacy to uphold. It is the American Batten's debut appearance in the race, while Argentine Gomez-Villafan is taking part for the second time in the Untamed African mountain bike race. The pair started fast, having rolled out of the start chute before the other pre-race favourites. This made it difficult for them to pace their efforts effectively. Yet the early signs were good. They even passed the Partners Group SK and Live Factory racing teams on the dual-track roads towards the highest point of the stage. As the times of the teams starting after them started to filter in, it became apparent that 91 Songo Specialized were not doing enough. Their time splits were routinely fourth best. 1 point in their favour, however, was their supersonic descent of the Lourensford Ultimate. The dusty single track clearly suited Batten and Gomez-Villafan. They clawed valuable seconds back on their rivals, but will surely be disappointed by stopping the clock 1 minute and 31 seconds off the pace. Having started directly after the 91 Songo Specialized team, the Bicycle Garage squad briefly held 5th position on the trails. Janine Schneider and Angelika Tazreiter flew up the climb, but conceded time to the local private client holdings team on the single-track descent back to the Lourensford Wine Estate fields. Their climbing prowess will surely stand them in good stead as the race continues, especially given the scope of ascents which dominate stage 1. Schneider and Tazreiter could yet be a team to watch as the CM.com women's race develops. Candice Lill and Mariska Strauss, though, were a team to watch right from the off. The Faces roller pair sprinted out of the start hut and hardly slowed throughout the rest of the stage. They were soon reeling in the teams who started ahead of them. In a practical illustration of their pace, Lill and Strauss overhauled the Bicycle Garage Partners Group SK and Live Factory racing teams. Making their passes more impressive, the South African squad managed to work their way past Schneider and Tazreiter in the single tracks before continuing their charge towards the finish line. Riding like women possessed, Lil and Strauss were clearly not content to limit their goal to the red Absa African jerseys. The Faces roller women are targeting the orange CM.com jerseys. And they came within 42.5 seconds of achieving that feat on the first day. Though there is a long way to go, and they were only undone by a ride for the ages by Robin de Groot. Having only committed to racing the Absa Cape Epic in early February, the 6-time South African marathon champion was in the hurt locker from virtue the first pedal stroke of the Prologue. Her partner, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot, is arguably the most accomplished cyclist in the world. Not only is the Frenchwoman a 3-time cross-country world champion, she's also a former road, cyclocross and marathon world champion. Ferrand-Prévot dragged the BMC MTB racing team forward at a relentless pace, ensuring that she and de Groot topped the timesheets at every time check. Despite de Groot yo-yoing off Ferrand-Prévot's wheel, the South African ensured the elastic never snapped. She kept fighting back to parity, ensuring the squad's dominant rider did not have to slow her charge. After an hour, 9 minutes and 5 seconds of racing, the BMC MTB racing team stopped the clock, setting the fastest time in the CM.com women's category. Following in the wake of Ferrand-Prévot and de Groot was the 3-time champion Ariane Luthi and her new partner Amy Wakefield. The Simtech ZA squad had the honour of being the final starters, which ensured they knew exactly what they had to do. Nonetheless, knowing and executing are two different matters, especially when chasing down a multiple world champion. Rather than risk everything, Luthi and Wakefield minimised their peril. They still raced to their limits on the climbs, but rode the descent slightly within themselves, weighting their approach with the knowledge that the opportunities to make or lose significant amounts of time still lay ahead. They still did enough, however, by just 4 seconds, to claim a spot on the podium for the stage, achieving a result which came as a pleasant surprise to Wakefield, being as it is her first top 3 finish on an Absa Cape Epic stage. Lil and Strauss, as well as Ferrand-Prévot, were equally ecstatic with their efforts. Having started the Absa Cape Epic with a surprise stage victory, BMC MTB Racing's Pauline Ferrand-Prévot and Robin de Groot will wear the CM.com Chiavita orange jerseys on stage 1. Candice Lil and Mariska Strauss conceded 42 seconds to the day's victors, while Ariane Luthi and Amy Wakefield were a minute and 27 seconds off the stage-winning pace. 91 Songo Specialized were 4 seconds off the podium places.
Yeah, I've definitely come in a lot fresher. Yeah, super awesome to come up with the win. It wasn't something we were expecting, I think. And we're here to enjoy and find our passion again. And yeah, if this is how we're going to find it, then so be it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is the first day, so there's still loads to do. Can't really dwell on anything. But yeah, I think, like Candice said, we executed what we wanted, and it was a good day.
In the men's race, the top teams were gearing up for a battle of the titans.
I turned 36 yesterday, so I'm getting older, and yeah, this year we approached it like another race. We work well together, we have a lot of confidence, and yeah, it's going to be 8 really hard days. It will be a completely different race than last year, I guess, with the temperature and the field. So we take it day by day, and most of all try to enjoy and see the opportunities.
It's more about the time, so for sure we don't want to lose too much time. We would prefer to win some time. But on the podium would be nice, and be close together would be nice, yeah.
I think the biggest thing is just keeping it as close as we can, either beating everyone or keeping it as tight as it can. Obviously, we don't want to give away any time in the Epic, so yeah, whatever we'll be happy with.
Yeah, we know that we are a really good team if we don't have any problems, and this year the field is really strong and wide open. And yeah, it's not easy, but we will try our best, and we are optimistic that if we don't have any problems, we can ride with the top guys, and that's the goal.
Even the less favoured teams were eager not to concede time unnecessarily. Early starters like the Toyota 91 Specialized 2 team of Tristan Nokia and Cameron Mason posted times which stood near the top of the leaderboard well into the afternoon, as did Sergio Manticon Guterres and Francesc Guerra Carretero of Scott Calabandida. In fact, the Spanish team's time of 1 hour and 46 seconds stood from their start at 36 seeds until the 13th ranked team in the race crossed the stage finish. With 2 Absa Cape Epic finishes each to their names, Guterres and Carretero know what it takes to perform in Africa. The team who knocked Scott Calabandida out of the hot seat with a Speed Company Racing combination. Both Georg Egger and Lucas Baum were making their race debuts, but were resolved to be more than just also-rans in the event. The young Germans who race across mountain biking's cross-country, marathon and stage race disciplines arrived in South Africa off a general classification victory for Egger at the Mediterranean Epic. Spain's east coast was clearly the perfect proving ground for the Western Cape, as Egger and Baum found their speed instantaneously. They were the first team to dip under the hour mark, and their time of 58 minutes and 47 seconds would stand the test of all but the day's very best team. Speed Company Racing's Prologue performance may have come as a shock to some of their rivals. They will be marked men heading into Stage 1. Marked by the likes of Daniel Gesmeyer and Cameron Orr. Orr was a late addition to the Willia Pirelli factory setup for the 2022 Absa Cape Epic. The Brit was a last-minute call-up to race alongside Gesmeyer, yet they still managed to place 10th on the stage. Scots Ramdui charged to the day's 4th fastest time, seeking to prove that they could be a force in their own right. While Andrei Frischnecht and Yuri Ranioli were attempting to showcase that they were in the race as more than just Nino Schurter and Lars Forster's backup team, the Santa Cruz squad were happy for a smooth start to their Absa Cape Epic careers. Maxi Marot and Keegan Swenson were 5th on their first ever untamed stage, doing enough to ensure that they are well placed for the marathon days to come. Their cross-country power and skill helped them put time into the double national marathon champions team of Fabian Ravensteiner and Wout Allemann. The men in the Italian and Belgian jerseys had a disappointing first day, conceding 3 minutes and 42 seconds to the stage winners. Baf Megama had been the form team of the second half of the 2021 race. This motivated Hans Becking and Jose Diaz to give up less time in the opening days of 2022. Only time will tell if the 2 minutes and 46 they shipped this time will prove too much. What is certain is that Team Bulls will not be happy with their 9th place on the stage. Alus Huber and Simon Sneller battled, Andres Seerwald and Martin Stosek flew. The Canyon Northwave MTB squad were also among the 2021 protagonists. Stosek had been forced out of the race with a stomach bug and as such started the 2022 event like a man with unfinished business. By the time the penultimate team rolled off the start ramp, Speed Company Racing still held the hot seat. But the way Scots Ram's Nino Schurter and Lars Forster started, it was clear that Egger and Baum's dreams of an opening stage victory were dashed. Dashed, that was, until Schurter punctured. A catastrophic rear wheel failure pushed a spoke through the 9-time world champion's tyre, costing him over 3 minutes before the 6-kilometre time check. Having plugged the worst of the leak, Schurter forged on to the tech zone where he changed his wheel, while Forster conserved his energy with a less hell-for-leather race up the climb. The conservative ascent allowed Forster to provide more pacemaking assistance to Schurter in the final 8 kilometres of the course. Once back up and riding, the Scots Ram team worked together to limit their time losses. All told, they gave up nearly 5 minutes to the day's winners while stationary, first fixing and then replacing Schurter's damaged rear wheel. Yet while on the bike they were on par, perhaps even faster than the day's victors, Matt Beers and Chris Blevins. The Toyota 91 Specialized team had the bit between their teeth from the off. Within the first 5 kilometres, they had passed the stricken Scots Ram team on the trails as Schurter fought to repair his puncture. This spurred Beers and Blevins on. The defending champion and his short course world champion partner was simply undeniable throughout the rest of the stage. Even a minor fall could not derail their charge to stage victory, knocking Speed Company Racing off the top step and claiming the race's first yellow Cheervita jerseys. Striding up onto the top step of the podium, Matthew Beers and Christopher Blevins got their race off to the best possible start. The Toyota 91 Specialized team's time for the 24-kilometre route was 58 minutes and 6.7 seconds. Georg Egger and Lucas Baum were second, 40 seconds back, with Andreas Seerwald and Martin Stosek completing the podium at 1 minute and 6 seconds. The story of the day, however, was the 4 minutes and 39 seconds conceded by Nino Schurter and Lars Forster of Scots-Ram. In the mixed category, the Absa mixed team of Mani Heymans and Genevieve Weber won the opening stage over Sionos Cafe CBZ Asfalto and Fairtree single track. Grimel Camos's Mirko Pirozzoli and Miguel Martinez upset the odds in the NTT Masters by holding off Carl Platt and Christoph Sauser, while in the Grandmasters division, Bart Brenchens and Abra Azevedo of CST Post NL Bafang raced to stage victory over the Norwegian Stikkamaratani team, with Thomas Frischnecht and Urs Gehrig completing the category podium. The Exaro jersey competition started with a bang too. Tlala Lisani Ndebele and Tlotlo Selala pulled the first green jerseys over their shoulders, putting the Exaro Academy 1 team in the driving seat. Their Exaro Academy 2 stablemates were second, with 91 Songo Specialized 2 in third place.
I hope that was the bad luck, and we're now facing a bit better luck. But yeah, that's racing. I had a lot of good luck in my career, and sometimes you also have some bad luck. But the race is still long not over, so we will fight until the end.
I think it's super good for us, the third place like last year in the Prologue. As we said, as for us as a marathon team, it's super good to be like in touch with these fast, let's say, cross-country riders and so on. And yeah, really the podium in the Prologue is good for us, and we are happy that we are looking forward to the longer stages.
Yeah, it was crazy. I actually didn't know there was no time splits or anything, and we were just riding full gas. And I mean, I would be surprised if someone could go faster than that, because I think we were going pretty good. And yeah, it's such a relief, and it's such an honor. I mean, our strengths were completely compatible, and it was really cool.
Stage 1, the first marathon day of the race, is, on paper, one of the toughest of the 2022 Absa Cape Epic. Taking in 92 kilometres with a massive 2,850 metres of climbing, it is sure to provide a far sterner test than the opening prologue. Early in the piece, the King's Climb sets the tone for a day of brutal ascents. Then 4 steep vineyard climbs traverse the famed wine estates between Somerset West and Stellenbosch. At Dornier, the route points resolutely upwards, as teams are challenged by the saddle. From the summit, 44 kilometres but only 500 metres of climbing remain. The second half of the stage is thus fun, if fun can be had on exhausted legs. Expect shake-ups in the general classification, as teams who got off to firecracker fast starts on day 1 wilt on day 2. And wilting is to be expected, as the mercury is predicted to rise into the 30s.